This week on Making Waves, I had the chance to sit down and speak with Will Leitch. Will is the owner and operator of MS Squared. This is a company that focuses on social media strategy and execution. Not only does Will operate the social media for the Cain Center for the Arts, but he also has many other clients in this region as well as around the country. Many of our companies and those involved with culture in our region have now had to do a lot of extra pivoting in regards to social media. Will's going to give us a lot of great advice and ideas on how we can continue to focus our social media during these times. We hope you enjoy this week's episode of Making Waves. So today we have Will Leitch with us.
Hello.
Full disclosure, Will is our social media coordinator for the Cain Center for the Arts.
I am.
So Will, real quickly, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from in this area, and a little bit about your history and how you got into what you're doing now as an artist and everything.
Yeah, so I'm a Mooresville native. It's where I currently am right now in Mooresville, North Carolina. I grew up, went to Mooresville High School. My parents they went to Mooresville High School as well. I went to UNC Chapel Hill for my degree. I grew up doing theater and music. I was in band. And then I went to school, studied political science and dramatic art, which is such a weird combination. But that is what I did. And now I'm back in Mooresville for a brief stint. And I recently started my own social media management and strategy business. So that is how we got here.
Social media strategy. Also, two big things from that. It was interesting. So you said dramatic arts and political science?
Yes, sir.
So how was that, like, tying those two things together? Because it does seem like politics may have a little bit of drama involved in it.
Yeah, it's funny because I get asked that question a lot, and I always tell people, so for a while I wanted to be a lawyer. And law very much is performance in many ways. I mean, there's a presentational aspect. There is an amount of like getting someone to understand and feel and agree with you based on the information you present. And so I think dramatic art, when that was my goal, really tied into it pretty well. And then I realized that I didn't want to go to law school. And so, I'm still looking for ways that theater will continue to tie into what I do, but I'm happy to be doing social media and strategy and some of the business side for, nonprofit theater organizations. So.
Great. So can you tell me right now how many organizations based in the Lake Norman region currently are you working with right now?
Currently, I'm working with about 4. If I would say total, since I started a few months ago, I've worked with about 7. Whether it's either like just a strategy call or a one-time thing or a consistent per month basis. Trying to build that up right now, but things are going really well. And I'm really thankful that, my home area has really taken to me and helped me out.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about that? So what has your experience been? You said you're from Mooresville.
Yeah.
So you grew up there?
Yes, born and raised.
So tell me a little bit about kind of what it's been like growing up in Mooresville in the Lake Norman region and now seeing where it is now and
yeah,
how everything's growing and moving from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because my parents used to always say so many people like Mooresville is growing, Mooresville is growing. As a kid, you don't really see that. And then coming here now and almost not even recognizing some of the areas in town because we've gotten so many new mainstream restaurants and things like that, and more people, and the population growth is so high, and it's really wild, I think. And Mooresville has become like an epicenter for 21st century education, and I never realized how much of a privilege it was at the time to have, technology that I could take home with me, like a laptop for my education and things like that. So Mooresville's really become quite a small town with a big message, which is so cool.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Small town, big message. I love that. I think that could almost be said for the whole this whole region, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
all the towns and municipalities that make up this Lake Norman area, small towns, big message. Small region, big message.
Mm-hmm.
So from your experience, tell me a little bit about what we're in some interesting times right now.
Right.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about, one, just start with the general importance of social media strategy when it comes to businesses and folks in these areas, and then
Yeah.
two, as a deeper dive from that,
Hmm.
in a times like this, what are some things that businesses and individuals and artists and everything should be thinking about when it comes to their social media messaging right now?
Sure, absolutely. So, just talking about the general importance of um, social media is your quickest, easiest, and most inexpensive way, really, to build an audience and communicate with your audience. And so it's sort of the perfect place to start your branding, start your messaging, growing your audience, growing your mailing list. I mean, that can all be done with such limited resources through social media. If you have the golden three of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you can really build yourself such a following if you're doing it right and you know the tips and tricks, which is something that I typically help with. But if we're talking about, what are the things that artists, individuals, nonprofits could be doing right now? First and foremost, I hope nobody is thinking that they can ignore their social media right now in order to take care of something else. Right now, there are so many people who are on social media because people are looking for something to digest while they're home. So if you're not
Maybe
taking
something that's
advantage,
not news.
something that's not news, exactly.
Gosh, how many of us right now are just constantly hitting refresh on our Facebook feed, on our LinkedIn feed, on our Reddit
Absolutely.
feed, on whatever it is.
Mhm.
And I know we all, that first week, right, when everything, it was like every day was some new announcement from the governor, from the president about a new closure, about a new restriction, things like that's going to be
Exactly.
now. And it just, I speak for myself, but I just felt like I was pounding myself with anxiety from doing.
Right. Hmm.
So to your point earlier that you were just getting at, it seems like there's a place for all of us to think about our messaging in a way that continues people to have conversations around, other things. Not that this is
Yeah,
obviously, there's no way to not have what's going on right now in the front of everyone's mind.
absolutely.
But is there a way that some of us, especially as nonprofits and as artists, can help to, brighten someone's day, to help to change the mood a little bit and give
Yeah,
them a way to
absolutely.
even
Um,
almost distract themselves a little bit?
yeah, exactly. I mean, people want the monotony of the day broken up right now, and they would like something to break up, like you said, all the news, because the news right now is not the most positive and it's pretty much all the same. So, artists who, if you have a smartphone or if you have a computer that has a webcam, which most of them come with at this point, you have the ability to stream something that could bring somebody some joy, right? And it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be well thought out. It doesn't have to be planned. It can be pretty impromptu. That's sort of the beautiful thing about art. No matter what you do, people will enjoy it. It's going to break up their day. And so I think artists can really take advantage of just sitting down in front of the camera, doing what you do. If you're a musician, playing music for a little bit on camera, you don't even have to say anything. If you're live streaming it, people will go past it and they'll see it and they'll sit and they will watch. I promise. Live streams are 3 times as likely to be watched than any other type of video. So I guarantee it. Um, and then beyond that, I think, from a messaging standpoint, I think we as artists can always remind people that in these uncertain times, what do people turn to for comfort? That is art, right? Like, we are really on the forefront of helping
Right.
people get through this the best we can. And reminding people also what it is that they are consuming that is art, because sometimes people forget. I mean,
Yeah.
literature, if you're reading, literature is an art.
Yep.
Poetry is an art. The things that go into those video games, everybody's playing Animal Crossing right now. There were artists who worked on that video game.
And you can't get it apparently.
Yeah.
My wife and I just last night were talking about maybe we should get a Nintendo Switch or something to give us something extra to do right now. And
Right.
we were looking and like, you can't. They're all sold
Yeah.
out. They're on back order. But
Uh-huh.
to your point, and that's one of the goals of this show and this series we want to do. And one of the goals that we were working on internally before all this happened was how to start messaging that, right? To your
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
is that's art, that's culture. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
these things that people are reading right now. They're doing puzzles. They're giving their kids coloring books. They're going out and they're not going out. Sorry,
Right.
they're
Hopefully
right.
not.
Well, they are. Some of them are going out, and what's really cool is I see these things where neighborhoods are doing ideas where it's like, hey, color on your sidewalk, put sidewalk chalk out day, and
Right.
and create these like neighborhood scavenger hunts where hey, color for St. Patrick's Day, people were coloring in my neighborhood um, clovers, right?
Right.
And they were putting them in their windows. And as kids would take a daily walk, you would count how many houses had clovers in their windows.
Oh, wow.
I mean, or shamrocks, right? So,
Yeah.
but things like this. But this is culture. This is art.
Exactly.
This is who makes us who we are, right? And so you're absolutely right. Trying to help people to just see that in our industry, I think is important. So all right, so quickly, a little local quiz that I want to try to do. I didn't tell you about this ahead of time. Sorry.
No, you didn't. Okay, go ahead.
So, all right, ready? Favorite Lake Norman area restaurant?
Oh no. Oh, definitely. I don't know if this is necessarily native to. I always thought it was growing up, but the Toastery, is that local? It started in Davidson.
There are definitely several. There are a lot of there are the great toast, the famous Toastery. There are definitely several of them in the Lake Norman region, so we'll count that. Honestly, I'm guilty in that I don't know if it was from here.
Yeah, I always thought it was, but I might be wrong.
I thought it was. I always thought it was too, but I could be wrong in that too. But there are several in the Lake Norman area, so that will count.
Boom.
How about favorite recreational activity?
Oh, I just like hiking around Lake Norman State Park. I love hiking.
Love that.
Yeah.
Tell me more about Lake Norman State Park real quick.
Well, I used to go to the summer camp, to the rec department in Mooresville. And when the counselors needed something for us to do that wasn't being inside, that's what we would do. We would load up a van. We would have to get there like 7 a.m. To beat the heat. And that's like one of my favorite memories, honestly. And then you go and there's a little sand area that you can, it's like an enclosed beach area almost for the public. It's really great. I really do recommend it. And you can do that right now, probably. You're allowed to go hiking.
True, very true. Not sure if Lake Norman State Park's open right now. I don't know. I can't remember if that one's been closed or not. I think you can still hike in the parks. I know some of the state parks have been shut down. In like the bigger ones, the mountains. Not sure. Look that up, everybody. Look that up for yourself.
Yeah.
Look it up before you go. Keep your social distance, right?
6 feet.
Yeah. So, all right. And just, how about if there's just, what's one of your we talked about a restaurant, we talked about, recreational activity. What's one of your just general favorite things that you enjoy about the Lake Norman area?
The Lake Norman area really is a hub for the arts. I mean, growing up, I was able to access, theater, dance, live music all around. And it's really cool that we're starting to make it more of a focal point and we're bringing it together. So
awesome. All right. Well, where can people find out more about your company, which is Mooresville based? Again, Mooresville based. Yeah. Where can people find out more about what you do?
You find out about me at ms-squared on Facebook. That's the best place to find me, or you just Google MS squared maybe, and hopefully I'll come up. That's, or just message me on Facebook directly. Get in contact with me. Comment on anything for Cain Center that you need some help. I'll get back to you.
There you go. All right. Well, Will, thanks so much.
Right.
And we'll have everyone. Hopefully, everyone will go visit Will's site and check in on what he's doing and help to support Will as a business owner through this time. And tune in for more episodes of Making Waves, where you can meet more people like Will, who are Lake Norman based business owners, artists, and individuals. And find out how we can highlight them and support them in these times. So
absolutely.
Have a great day. Thank you, Will.
Thank you.